Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Right, today we've got a map which is somewhat mundanely understated, and I mean that actually as a compliment. You see, this creator, we have done them once in the past in episode 1027, and on that occasion they got 11 stars, which is a solid score, if not an outstanding one. And yet, I gave that map the seal of approval, which is quite uncommon for 11 stars. Today's map is of the same kind of ilk. I think I actually like this creator's work. There's something about this creator that says to me, I like you. Is it possible that you can say that right now, please? That's right, saying I like you and supporting that with a click of the like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people, helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is flat, literally, by Rarefield Elm 6336. Got another one of theirs on the long list at the moment, so hopefully we'll see another one of theirs soon. There's your start square, no intersections in there, but actually a connected highway, so you can actually start building without an intersection. The terrain height is relatively flat with some hills. It's not a perfectly flat map. And the resources, got a little bit of fertile, a little bit of ore, a little bit of forestry. I would say that would work quite well too. If you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, you've got a little bit of everything but no tuna, which makes sense. You don't have tuna in those sort of rivers, do you? Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. A few things to subscribe to, not too many. The realistic 1.2.13 Boreal theme. I do actually have that bridge at the bottom. I've just forgot to refresh the screen after subscribing to it. And some other trees. Oh, and it says Overcast Natural LUT. I'm using the wrong LUT, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise. I've literally just seen the Overcast Natural LUT on the right-hand side. Dope. We'll today be using the realistic 1.2 LUT incorrectly. I'm so sorry, Rarefield. I have blown it. I don't have time to re-record now, so we'll just go with it. Just squint a little bit. It makes it look a little bit darker, a little bit gloomier if you squint a little bit. Intersection number 1 here, and they're all good, strong intersections. I don't know whether they're plots or I don't know, might actually be. Some of these I think might be hand-built because there are lane mathematics on quite a few of them. So something just to watch out for. Now, the map has got some very strong highway connections running across the entirety of the map. Some strong intersections connecting those highways and some strong intersections connecting national roads to the highway network. So you don't really ever need to build, well, possibly, I mean, you might want to, but you don't really need to build. Speaking of lane mathematics, here's an example of that there. 3 lanes splitting into 3 lanes. That's really neat. We have a little bit of a sharp-ish drop off down into the tunnel there. That could be just smoothed out just a little bit. It's not too bad. Not quite as bad as this little pillar in the highway there, which could be quite horrific. Watch out! Oh, too late. Anyway. Anyways, yes, we've got a little elevated highway ramp on the left-hand side there as well, which could be and maybe should be dropped down to ground level. Yeah, the grumbly things on this map are the really easy to fix ones. So there's nothing that's going to stop anybody wanting to play on it, I would suggest, apart from the fact that it might be a little bit disinteresting in terms of the build space is entirely flat and some of you might want a little bit of undulation. That said, we have got some really nicely worked rivers. We'll have a look at the waterfronts a little bit later on. We do have some hills that you won't be wanting to build into, but they add for a little bit of interest again. Now, this is the intersection that's in the start square that doesn't lead directly to the start square. But there you go. Of course, you could build your own intersection just up this route here to access this area. Or we could follow the highways onto the national roads and find a way. Like this national road up here, up ahead. This is in the start square. So if we can get traffic off of here, we will be good to go for building. Let's have a little look. Now, if we look off this way, does connect off to the edge of the map. Let's have a look. Right, so we can head up that way, this way, and that's a highway connection over there. So you can get traffic coming in directly via that route. Or let's follow the highway along this way, and we'll follow the national roads, and we'll just loop back the quickest routes this direction. And you'll see you won't actually need to build intersections. You may want to, you won't need to. The map is, as always, good to go. Right, so anyway, yes, let me talk about some other stuff. Oh, again, lane mathematics in operation, splitting off, and you'll see this 2-lane going up to 3-lane in the moment, and it's just nice. A nice little staggered intersection. I quite like that. Right, so yes, let's talk about what's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. You may be aware there is a I'm going to say a world holiday. I know there are places in the world which don't actually celebrate Christmas, and quite right too. Quite right too. Adds a little bit of flavour across the world to have differences. Motorbike going through my living room. But yes, it's nice to have variations across the world. But yes, let's just say a holiday. There'll be a holiday coming, and WhatsApp will be taking a 1-week break, which it does every year. A week and 4 days, I think we're doing, during which will be the Map of the Year series, where I go back over all the best works of 2020, and I'll showcase to you.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of our catch-up with the Dev Diaries. With me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB. You're very, very welcome. So, back up and at 'em. We'll let people join in as they join in. There might be a few people later on. I know it's very sparsely populated in here at the moment, but that is absolutely fine. I don't mind. So yes, a little reminder, pre-downloads of Cities Skylines II are now available. So if you want to pre-download and be ready to play tomorrow, you can do that right now. That's the reason why I'm a little bit later coming back. I thought it was going to be about a couple of hours, but I wanted to let the download finished. So we are done. So, what have we got? We've got 2 more Dev Diaries to catch up on, and then we're done, I think. We have citizen characters, first of all. Might not be the most exciting, but listen, sometimes the least exciting ones turn out to be the most interesting ones. As we found out with the music, actually. The music was a beautifully written Dev Diary, and was just... well, probably one of the best ones, I thought, actually. It was really very interesting. So, possibly, citizen characters will be one of the more interesting ones. So, anyway, let's crack on. But yes, if you haven't started your pre-download on Cities Skylines 2, you can right now. Get on and do that straight away. So, let's have a little... I'm not going to wait for 20 people to come and enter the room because, frankly, I want to get these done and I want to go to bed so I can get an early start tomorrow. I've got no idea. Anyone got any idea when we're going to be able to play this thing tomorrow? I'm not in the panic, all right? I know everybody's going to be going, no, we're going to play it, we're going to play it, we're going to play it. No, I'm just curious. Hi, family. Family man. Yo, thank you very much for your support. Really lovely to... have some support. It's more than certain games developers have given me. Not mentioning any names, but yeah, how many bigger YouTubers do you know that didn't get early access? Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to read through the 2 remaining Dev Diaries, see what they've got to say. We've got nothing better to do tonight, have we, really? I'm not going to start a new city in Cities Skylines 1. And I've already played like a chunk of Rocket League tonight, so let's do this. Right, hi and welcome back to another development diary for Cities Skylines 2. We've talked about the people living in your cities before, their wants and needs, and how they affect the simulation. But today we focus on the models themselves, our goals for them, and the process of how they came to be. Heart of Value. I have followed you for months on here to the day of release. Oh, what, from Cities Skylines II being announced? Oh, bless you. Did you follow the channel prior to that? All the nearly 2,000 watt map videos, 100 and something tutorials, and plenty of other stuff. It's just really nice to know people are watching it, you know. I'm going to carry on. From the very start, we had a distinct goal. We wanted a clear and definitive upgrade from Cities Skylines in all aspects. A distinct and clear goal. Right, yeah, okay. The new photo mode camera allows you to get pretty close, so citizens had to have a level of detail to match this. But we also wanted our citizens to have much more variation to create a more inclusive and realistic gaming world. It was essential to us that the characters in Cities Skylines 2 represent a broad spectrum of humanity, including different ethnicities and body types. Do we have anybody in wheelchairs? Have you included the disabled? What about amputees? I'll leave that to the modders, shall we? Anyway, achieving this diversity required a flexible and efficient system for creating character models across all the different age groups of the game. It was clear that a tool was needed to combine all those aspects, and on top of that, a great variety of hair, clothes, and accessories needed to be added. Lastly, it was also a major requirement that animation should work with any type of character model regardless of the body type. Well, that's all valid. That is all very valid stuff, isn't it? Totally makes all of the sense. Oh, we got this group here waiting for the bus, I think. I think that's what they're doing there. They're waiting for the bus. Looks like a bus stop to me. I could be wrong. But yes, big question is everyone seems to have an issue with the graphics. I don't think I'll have an issue. You have 5600 with 16 gig of RAM. What else do you know? See, the thing... Oh, sorry. I think the issue with the graphics... I mean, there have been lots of buggy, glitchy things going on with the graphics. But especially on this channel where it's predominantly map makers or people that are interested in maps on this channel. And with the lack of different types of resources in terms of colouring, so if you look at all the maps that are available in vanilla, they're all very samey. Not in design, because obviously the designs are very... You got the archipelago, and you've got the mountains, and you've got just flat sweeping spaces and so forth. So yeah, we've got a variety of different styles, but they all look the same. If you just took a screenshot without focusing on any real parts of the environment, so not really including any mountains or maybe just some foothills, that sort of thing, you wouldn't be able to tell what map it was, because they are all, at least with the vanilla Cities Skylines 1 maps, you just knew it was a tropical map, or you just knew it was a boreal map from the theme and the LUT. And those things seem to be very noticeably missing at this point. So there's an issue with that, I would say, in terms of the graphics. It's just it's kind of a bit bland compared to especially what we've been used to with the modded game. With the modded Cities Skylines 1 game. You can't compare Cities Skylines 2 vanilla with Cities Skylines 1 modded. It's not a fair comparison. But that said, it does look a bit, and when I say flat, I don't mean no mountains. There are clearly mountains. I mean just flat to look at. That's my first impressions. So I think there's a few people that'll have problems with that. You can't hear you. Sound is very low. Hang on. Hang on. Ooh. There's no real reason why. I've got the microphone setting to maximum. I'll push my speaker settings up a bit. That'll make a bit of a difference. Hopefully, I mean, there's not anything more I can do here, I'm afraid. If you can't hear me, Styrestian? I've never tried to say that outside. Outside. I've never said it inside either. Out loud. Hopefully you can hear me now. But that is as loud as we can go. There is no more give. So I don't know what the problem is. It's streamed with these settings earlier. Oh, it's better. I'm glad it's better for you. I'm probably deafening a few people now. Yeah, I always have the speakers. There's two sets of settings I've got here. One for the mic input and one for the overall sound output. Now, the reason why I have the speaker settings right the way down is if I want to have the background music, here we go. Now that might be just a little bit too much. This is how I control the background music and sound effects, etc. Let me turn the music off there. But yeah, these sort of things might be deafening. So that's why I normally have the speaker settings down, but the mic settings up. But anyway, at least you can hear me, I guess. Anyway, someone with a pretty good computer, could they use all the levels at high, or should they say medium? Seen videos with most keeping them low or medium. Well, this is the thing. I haven't had early access, so I've not been able to play yet. Won't be long now. 24 hours time I'll have been in there. I would have thought you could, well, you should be able to play with the high settings. They have accepted they've missed their benchmark, their benchmarks. So a few of the, but I'm not massively worried about people missing benchmarks. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to do a test and I want to get 100%. The pass mark might be, say, 70%, but I want 100%. And I get 71%. Well, I've still passed the test, but I've missed my benchmark, which was 100%. So it depends how high Colossal Order was setting the standard for their benchmarks. If they've missed them, then they've missed them. Which again, that's a fail, but it's something not to. I wouldn't worry too much on missing the benchmarks. In terms of having a really good computer, and I mean, if you've got a top-end computer, top-end gaming PC with, I mean, I'm on 64 gigs of RAM here. If I can't run it on high, then that's a little bit worrying. Yeah, benchmarks missed or not, but we'll see. I'm going to be honest with everybody. That's the great thing with not getting early access is I don't lose anything. I can be honest. If Biffa were to, I mean, Biffa will say that he will be honest, and I think he will be honest, but I don't know how brutally honest he will be, because clearly he wants. He needs the paycheck. Well, he doesn't need it. I know. He wants the paycheck from Paradox to continue doing the official videos. And $2.20. Again, they will be honest, but they'll be more diplomatic, clearly, than I would. Whereas with me, if something is right fooked up, then I will say that I feel it is right fooked up. But equally, if something's brilliant, because the thing is, I want this to be a success, because I want to have a successful YouTube channel based on Cities Skylines 2. So it's not that I want to send it down the dungy hole, put it in the poop hole. No, I want it to be a success. So anyway, what I'm saying is, you will get honesty from me, if nothing else, and honesty in my opinion, because at the end of the day, I don't have the big brain of certain other big brains out there. I've got a moderate sized brain. Anyway, uploading your CS1 city with 80,000 people. I sent every disaster down to 0. Yeah, just kill them all. Anyway, speaking of people, we've got these people here. Now, looking at this image, before we read any further, right, we do have a nice selection. Is there any real obvious duplicates? I'm not seeing any obvious duplicates. Mind you, first of all, first point of note is, that coat looks very similar to this coat. But she's got different trousers. She's got a skirt. She's got trousers on. Oh, no, that's the same coat, isn't it? I think we got a duplicate here. But she's in the blue coat with green trousers. And she's in the green coat with blue trousers. I think that's the only duplicate. Is that the same coat? Yes, but she's taller. I think that's she's got a different hat on. So it is slightly varied. We have, like I say, I think she might be a different character from this one. But this one and that one definitely the same characters. So again, I mean, I don't want a million different character models. But just so that when you take an image of an area, it'll be very clearly sort of like populated. It's nice. Anyway, where were we? We're going to carry on. I think so. This is where populate, what a great name, comes into play. We partnered with Didimo, oh great, who created the Populate character design software that perfectly addresses our design needs. Create a lot of varied characters quickly and easily. We had our own art style for the characters, and for this, Didimo created a base mesh to represent that style. With this external tool, groups of citizens could easily be created for different seasons. That's a good point. Different seasons, yeah. Age, groups, and jobs. And then these could be imported into the game. Yeah, seasons, because I mean, these coats, these aren't summer coats, are they? This is clearly, I mean, not summer. I was going to say clearly winter, but it's not clearly winter because we've got grass. So maybe it's late autumn or early spring. Who knows? We had a set of early placeholder characters during development, which did not have much variety. So getting the first batch of final characters into the game was quite exciting for us. Suddenly the game came alive with a myriad of people walking the streets, doing yoga in the park, or taking selfies in front of interesting buildings. It brought in both young and old, tall and short, heavy and light citizens of all different ethnicities, bringing realism and diversity to the city. And when they started to choose their clothing according to the temperature, we took another exciting step towards more realistic citizens. That's nice. I've got to be honest, that is something I hadn't thought of, and yes, credit. Clothing appropriate to the season. Will it be clothing appropriate to the weather though? Is it, if it's raining, will this tall blonde lady here still be wearing her white t-shirt? I do hope so. Anyway, cheers, family man. You have a good time. Take care. So, a sneak peek of how characters are created in Populate. That's nice, isn't it? It's a nice bit of software. Gotta say. Just mix and match. Beautiful. Anyway. Oh, hello. They're all playing airplanes. Okay, as we wanted a lot of variation in the game, this meant a lot of character models. The game has children, teens, adults and seniors, all of which need to be done separately and set up so that their physical appearance remains the same throughout all ages. Some might change their hairstyle or gain or lose some weight, but in general, they are recognisable throughout their lifetime. Oh, good. When working on new characters, we usually create a group of 100 characters with similar setups at the same time. As an example, let's say it's a group of adult people during the winter time. And that's 100 people apparently. A lot with pink hair. I mean, pink hair. Why not? 100 adults in winter gear in Populate. Colour variations for hair and clothing are not shown. These are set in game. Okay, no, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you off that one, Paradox. It's fine. How it's done. We have several sliders which control variables for age, tall or short, fat or thin. There are also several sliders for different ethnicities to ensure characters look just right. As this is a group of adults, the age slider is set to about the middle with some allowance variance. Other sliders can have the full range or just give the group a good variety of height, build and ethnicity. Next, we create sets of winter boots, jackets, trousers, headgear and accessories from which clothing is randomly picked to form the characters in Populate. Additionally, we have several versions of hair and tattoos for even more variety. Tattoos, alright. Once the characters are generated, they are checked to avoid any combinations that look way off. Some weirdness is okay. We want characters to reflect experimenting with different styles, but occasionally some go just a little too far away from reality. Once we are happy with the group, it is exported from Populate and imported into the game. Lovely. In-game settings. The original texture assets are usually a grey and a neutral grey to allow for even more variations of colour for the clothing, hair and accessories. Once in the game, artists choose colour palettes for their characters. It's a fine balance between too garish or too dull, and we have included both common and rare colour choices to represent the variations you find in real life. Some people love a splash of colour while others prefer more muted tones, like me. And our character models should represent this. Yeah, give me greys, blacks and blues and I'm happy. I look good in green, but who doesn't, eh? So we've got selecting a jacket for the character. Yeah, you look good. You look good, sir. And you've got pink hair. Getting your hair done. It's very pink. Right, challenges. There were quite a few challenges with the character models for Cities Skylines 2. Some of these challenges were technical and expected, like what is the art style, what are the proper blend shapes, how clothes work, and how they work. Sorry, no. I know it's more technical than that, but it's quite funny. When they are layered on top of each other. There you go, you see. And how to compress animations. Other challenges were trickier to solve, like how different slices of characters fit onto motorcycles. Good point. Or retargeting animations for children so that they all look correct. Then there was just picking clothing combinations that look realistic but interesting and not too odd. There was more of a fun challenge, and it was good to see all the possibilities of the tools. Needed one with a Santa hat. I'm pretty sure the modders will provide Santa hats. It'd be fun if we could have our own. I don't know if Populate's available to the public. I mean, it probably is, but you're gonna have to pay your fees, your dues, I imagine. Anyway, looking to the future, we want to add more variations in character blend styles, clothing, and pretty much all aspects of character models, so the city has a wider spectrum of characters. This also includes animations and accessories for disabled characters. Finally, see, the disabled are going to get a nod, good, and much more. While we have many ideas ourselves, we're always eager to hear from you about the kind of citizens you would like to see and which ones grow to become your favourites. This brings us to the end of this one, and we have one more to do. One more to do, and then I can go to bed. I need to go to bed, I'm tired. Right, so let me just have a moment. I'm just going to have a moment. Hang on a second. Let me share with you how about a little doodly animation. There we go. Have a little doodly animation while I get myself comfy. Right, so we are going to do the behind the scenes tutorials and advisor. Hello everyone. Hi. It's time for another development diary, the last one in our mini series taking you behind the scenes. Today we take a look at the tutorials available in the game. Boo! Stealing my job. How they work, what kind of helpful information they provide. Of course you need tutorials in the game. I'm just there to make it easy for people that can't follow tutorials. Anyway, our goal with the tutorials in Cities Skylines 2 is to provide you with a thorough introduction to the game and guide you towards building a successful city. While we had small in-game guides in Cities Skylines to explain different services or features, they were quite limited. Yeah, you're right. So we developed a new system for Cities Skylines 2 to help both players familiar with its predecessor and players new to the genre. Tutorials can be enabled at the beginning of the game and function as a guide, bringing you the essential information on how to start a city. They provide easy step-to-step instructions on the basic city needs and help set up the city for future growth. As the game progresses, the steps of the tutorials provide more information and fewer step-to-step guides, letting you take the reins and choose the direction of your city. Tutorials have no time limit on how long to take on each step and are shown for services and panels when the service or panel is opened. So right, okay, so when you try to do something for the first time, up it pops, like a road tool or something like that. Right, tutorials work together with tooltips and other information in panels, which provide more in-depth information about what that feature is, while tutorials focus more on how and where to build and place the feature. Together they provide a good overview of how to use each feature to make a successful city. Now that puts me into an interesting position. Do I play the game with tutorials? Because while I think most of what the tutorials are going to have to show me I'm going to know, I guarantee there's going to be that one thing where you go, I didn't know that. Oh, let me know in the chat. Are you going to be playing with tutorials switched on or off? Because I suspect the correct answer is off. But anyway, for beginners, the tutorials provide an easy start with more guided and instructional beginning, with additional information and hints as the city expands and more features are opened. For experienced players, the tutorials provide information on the features that are new and a helpful resource if stuck on something or uncertain about how a feature works. Tutorials are optional and can be turned on or off at any time, and even when turned off, they are easy to reach in the advisor found at the top right of the screen. Just open the panel and select the feature you want to learn more about. So, off then, I think. There is also an option to restart or continue the tutorials. These options can be used on the same map while continuing to build a city that is already started, or on a new map with a new city. Starting with tutorials. At the beginning of tutorials, there are a few basic instructions on how to move around. These are called camera controls and will get you started. In addition to the basic camera movements, there are quite a few keyboard shortcuts to use. The keyboard shortcuts are listed in the options menu under input. Each one can be changed from the default to whatever feels most comfortable, and reset bindings will restore them to the default settings if the need arises. So, who would have thought WASD? Do you know what? If they hadn't gone WASD, I think there would have been uproar. So anyway, camera control tutorial cards appear in the middle of the screen and display the appropriate instructions depending on whether the game uses a keyboard and mouse as a controller. Oh, there's a thought. See, now I'm going off on a tangent here. My middle mouse button hasn't worked with Cities Skylines 1 for a long time. I've had to rebind the caps lock, and I'm used to using the caps lock. Middle mouse button works for any other game, just not. Oh, it does work on Cities Skylines 1 for zooming in and zooming out, but not for rotate. But any other game, it does. It's weird. So I'm hoping it's going to work with this. If it doesn't, well, I'm going to want a refund. How to build a city. All right, we're cracking on. Once you have a hang of the controls, it's time to build a city. The tutorials give you a short list of tasks to fulfill, which cover the basic needs of a city. Each task has the goal of building an essential utility for the city and showing the very basics of road building and how to zone. These task tutorials are aimed at new players and beginners, but contain information about new features and familiar services for experienced players. When the tasks are done, the city is ready to start growing and expanding with more services and controls. During the task list, tutorials are not skippable, but become skippable once the list has been completed. So right, if you're going with this, you can't skip them, you've just got to do them. So yeah, tasks in the start list are tutorials that will start by pressing the play button. You can take as much time with each tutorial as you need and return to any of them to look through the information to do the tutorial again. By pressing the play button, the task will remain grey and locked until the previous task has been done. So yeah, I think I'll switch the tutorials off. I don't really want to know how to build a city. Pretty sure about that. Moving on. Different types of tutorial steps. Okay. Tutorials are broken down into a few different types of steps with guides to help you find the relevant place to go. There are balloons that point to features, center cards with information, and task cards that have instructions on how to build something. First step balloon. The first step balloon points to the item it's talking about and highlights it with a green outline around the icon. These give overall information about the features like roads or services, and the green outline is animated to encourage you to click the icon and open the menu to move it up to the next tutorial step. If the panel or service is closed before the tutorial is finished, the green outline will appear around appropriate icons and tabs to show you where to go. So right, so here we go. This has popped up here. Here's your roads. Click on this, please. You should be building a road. Yeah, whatevers. This is not Cities Skylines 1. It's the same thing basically, isn't it? I think. Balloon steps. Ooh, they'd be bouncy. Balloon steps are next. These point to things like assets and tools. You can freely move backward and forward through these steps to get familiar with the tools and controls before moving on to building. These steps will point out some of the common useful tools and their controls, highlighting new additions that might go unnoticed otherwise. Alright, okay. The explanations are short, but more details are displayed in the tooltips or panels about the feature in question if you want to learn more. This is something that because the road tools are different, I think I will read these balloon steps on the road tools, because it's a slightly different system. It's going to be intuitive, I'm sure, but yeah, something new, something different. Task cards. Task cards are often the last step of a tutorial sequence. Task cards are the instructions on how and where to build and will complete the tutorial when done. Though not all tutorial sequences have a card with a task at the end. Tasks are given when there is something to build. While the task is active, there are more of the while the task list is active, there are more of these task cards. But once it's completed, the task cards will show up only for more complex builds like public transportation. The text will scroll if it's too long to fit in the space, and the card can be minimized while building without closing tutorial. To minimize the card, close and reopen the card with the small arrow on the title bar. Oh, how do you do that? Okay, all good. Center card. Center cards are used when there is no specific icon, tool or panel to point to. These will show you information about things like info views that might pop up to draw attention to a new type of problem in the city. Center cards can be looked through by selecting the arrow. When the card includes a task, the panel will close after the task is done, or it can be closed without completing the task. So traffic accidents, removing and rezoning. Yeah, okay. Hints. Wow, this goes on, doesn't it? Hints. What's the difference between a hint and a tutorial? Hints are tutorials that pop up between the task list tutorials and are a short information balloon that don't have a task and can be closed once read. Hints point out tools that are particularly useful at the moment. After the hint has been shown, it will appear in the bottom of the task list and can be accessed later in the advisor along with all the other tutorials. Hints point out things that could be handy to know, like bulldozer. Okay, right. They don't need any action, so yeah, hints. Good. Bulldozer. Good to see the bulldozer still active. Tutorials after the task list. How much more of this have we got? Oh, good God. After the task list is done, the tutorials will show up when a new service or panel is opened for the first time. New features have a green indicator at the top right corner of its icon. So little things like here, new things we can do. Right. So new features done. These tutorials function the same way as they did during the task list, except for they can be closed at any step and don't need to be completed. When they are closed, they will be added to the advisor where they can be opened again at any time. So, right, okay, got it. Tutorials will open when a new service or panel is opened. New services will be unlocked as the city grows. Well, yeah. Right, text highlight. Okay, text highlights are bolded text. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me, suck eggs. Right, text highlights are bolded text in tutorial that shows the most relevant information in that tutorial. Reading just the bolded text will give the short answer to what the feature is, and the rest of the text adds more detail. There is a lot of information to read when combining all the tutorials, tooltips and panels, and highlights give you a quicker way to scan the information and pick out what interests you most at that moment.
So, right, yeah. If it's in bold, it's the important bit. I'm just like losing the will to read now. Advisor. Oh, lovely. Okay. After the task list is completed, the advisor will appear in the top right hand corner of the screen. Or if you play with tutorials turned off, it will be available from the start. Simply select the question mark to open the advisor and access its collection of all the tutorials in the game. Tutorials are divided into 5 groups: services, city, info views and notifications, citizens, and interface and tools. Under these groups, you will find subgroups like electricity, where all the tutorials relevant to that service can be found. To expand or close a group, select the small arrow icon and select the tutorial to open it. If the tutorial has more than one step, select the top step or skip any step you want to start from. Steps are marked with a small dot to make them easily recognizable. Tutorials are added to the list when services or panels are unlocked. Good grief. More eggs for sucking. Right. Oh, thank goodness for this. Look, we've reached the bottom. Oh, man. I haven't been this pleased to reach the bottom since that night out with King Cardassian. Anyway. Starting without tutorials. You can choose not to have tutorials on and open them manually from the advisor if you need them later on. Only the tutorials for the services and features that have been unlocked will be visible in the advisor, and each time a service or feature is unlocked, tutorials relevant to them will be added. Tutorials can be turned on and started at any point, even after a city has grown to a larger size. Tutorials provide information on what's new and how old and improved services work. With the tooltips and panel information, you can either take a quick look or a deep dive into how things function in the game. That concludes, God's sakes, our behind the scenes development diaries. Hooray! I'm going to miss the dev diaries, but not this one. The previous one was better. We hope you enjoyed this look at our goals and philosophy behind certain aspects of the game, and a peek at our processes for bringing it all to life. If you'd enjoy more of these, don't hesitate to let us know what kind of topics you'd love for us to cover. For now, we'll be counting the hours to release, as we're so excited for you to finally get your hands on Cities Skylines II. So you are now. Yes, honestly. Tutorials. There will be. The thing is, right, where was one up here that I don't know if it was this, and I said something along the lines of, and now we all know how to suck eggs. You can guarantee that probably my first dozen tutorials for Cities Skylines 2 will be egg sucking tutorials. And the thing is, some of my most popular videos are egg sucking tutorials. A classic, I can't remember how many views it's got, but it's got tens of thousands of views. This is Cities Skylines 1. How to turn on and off the day-night cycle. Answer, it's in the options. But people, YouTube this, and so I have tens of thousands of views on how to go into the options menu. I mean, genuinely, okay. Yeah. Duh. So, sucking eggs. There's money in it. And to be fair, it has kept me busy for about 3/4 of an hour just reading through all of this junk, in it. There we go. Preload is available right now. If you haven't already started your preload, why not do it now? You'll be ready to play sometime tomorrow. The thing is, what time tomorrow? This is the thing. Came in for hope someone was reading this for you. Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes it's just easier to sit back and have it read. I think that last one, the tutorials one, honestly, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't. It's nice to have it explained how their thought process has worked with, like, how the different cards have worked. It's not just, you know, these pop-up cards don't just happen. They are thought through. And I'm going to say, and all credit for them. All credit for them. It's what you would expect. The previous one, the Citizens one, that was a bit more interesting. So yeah, that kept me awake a while. And then we had a stream earlier on today with a whole bunch of other things as well. But yes, when's it going to be available? Because I mean, if it releases the 24th, which is tomorrow, today, depending on where you are in the world, in Australia already, you know, well, not just Australia, a few minutes, it's going to be the 24th in Central Europe. When I say Central Europe, I mean basically Europe. Another hour for the UK. But obviously it can't be from midnight, because then it's not fair on West Coast USA. You know, all of Europe are playing the game and they don't get to access it. So I'm imagining we're talking possibly early afternoon, or maybe 9 a.m. Maybe 9 a.m. Stockholm time. I don't know. When do you think? Come on. Somebody let me know what you think. I need to know what you think. You've got to have an opinion. You've got to have an opinion. It's all going to come together just like my logo there. There we are. I need to know. I need to know. But yeah. So yeah, the plan for me this week, I've taken the whole week off work to play the game solid, learn it backwards. You reckon 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. And it's at 6 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. West Coast time, 6 p.m. Stockholm time, 6 p.m. Beijing time, or just 6 p.m. I don't know. I'm not massively worried either way. Just as and when it's available, I'm good to go. Cannot wait. But yes, I'll be streaming pretty solid this week, I think. A lot of it is going to be noob. I'm going to be 6 p.m. Tampere. Or Norway time. Norway time, Finland time. So you reckon 6 p.m. Which should be about, where are we? 5 p.m. UK time. Which would be, that would make some kind of sense, because that would be about, midday New York time ish, give or take an hour. And then we got about another 4 hours. Is it 3 hours? 4 hours across America. So yeah, and then that would be get up time, West Coast. So it's just those poor souls in Australia. Okay. Yes, it releases on the 24th, but you're gonna have to wait until midnight, or even after midnight. So there's a thought, though. If it's 6 p.m. Tampere, then it's going to be the 25th for Australia. Surely it can't be that late. Surely can't be that late. Anyway, it's curious. Right, what more have we got? So yeah, I'm going to be streaming, playing, learning, Just basically bodging it along. Feel free to come and join me, especially if you haven't got the game, and we can bodge it along together. Just learn the bits and bobs. I'm not expecting to make a beautiful city. I just wanna learn all the mechanics, play about with a few bits and pieces. Just track a few citizens, see as they go through their daily lives, what they get up to. See whether they actually do seem to make daily. Because remember, what was I say? Remember with Cities Skylines 1. Do you remember that thing that we're still playing? Right. So Cities Skylines 1. Oh, what's going on out there? What are you doing there, buddy? Oh, it's okay. Right. A very dodgy looking character outside my property, caught on CCTV there, but he didn't do anything. That's fine. So yes. So what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. I've lost me track. City Skylines 1. Remember that thing with City Skylines 1? I don't remember what it was. I'm told you I'm tired. I should quit while I'm losing. All right, but yes, I'm going to be streaming pretty solidly, and so it'll be good to have at least some company while I'm experimenting and tweaking and basically trying to break the game. Oh, characters. That was it. Characters, citizen characters. So you would have a house, let's say one the High Street, Hawthorne residence, if you like. And the people that lived in that house weren't called Hawthorne, for starters. They'd be Smith or Jones or Brown or whatever. And Bob Smith might go to the store. You never saw him come back. That's the one, yeah. So yeah, Bob Smith would go to the store, and you could watch the store for 2 or 3 days, and he'd never come out of the store. You never see him go back to the home, and you never see him go to work, and you never see anybody else leave the house ever. Maybe 3 months later, Bob Smith might come back out of the house, and he might go to the park. So this is why I'm hoping Cities Skylines 2 has enough depth that if it's Bob Smith, with him will be Mary Smith, his wife, his 2 children, Smithy 1 and Smithy 2. I don't know, I'm running out of names in my head here. And each day, Bob Smith would go to work at the power station. Mary Smith would go to the store to buy food. The kids, one would go to primary school, one would go to college. I'm hoping that it's deep enough to be believable, and not just that Bob Smith will, every once in a blue moon, go to the store. It'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting. We will see. I suspect it won't be that good. I'm going to put a little bet on it right now. There you go. I'm just there's a half a matchstick. Right. That's my bet. Half a matchstick. It won't be that good. It will be good. It'll be better than Cities Skylines 1. But I don't think it will be that good. Well, we will see. Right. So, I think we've kind of just about reached the end of today's proceedings. As of, that would be cool. It would be cool. Totally agree. Yeah. So, coming towards the end of today's proceedings, give you my little social medias on there. If you haven't already hit the like button, by the way, now's a very good time to do so, because you will forget. I know you will. I already have. I forgot to tell you earlier. I forgot to do my social medias earlier. So there we are. It's not Twitter anymore, but you'll have to stay there. A little bit of Discord, the Bon fan group on Discord, and then of course the BonBonB buddies over on Patreon and YouTube membership as well. I do prefer Patreon. Big difference between Patreon and YouTube membership is Patreon take 5% of anything you donate. YouTube takes 45% of anything that you donate. So if you said, "Oh, BonBon, here's £10 or $10 or 10 euros or whatever your local currency is, YouTube would take $4.50 out of that, and Patreon would take 50 cents out of that. What would you rather you do with your money? If you want to support YouTube, you know what to do. Again, I'm thankful for anything and anything, but this is why I and many other creators will prefer you to go via Patreon, or those people that use Buy Me a Coffee or anything like that. Then they are all definitely better financially. What I do benefit from YouTube, of course, is a little bit of ad revenue here and there. Doesn't add up to a huge amount, but just about makes it worthwhile doing. If only I can get to 1 million subscribers, then it will be worth doing. Anyway, that is just about it from me. Thanks to everybody who's been in the chat. Thanks, Shake. Sypho, thank you. Styrestian, I'm going with that. Styrestian. Family Man, thanks for that, although you disappeared a little bit earlier. Anybody who's been lurking in the background, I know you are there. I know you are there. So yes, I don't know what time I'm going to be on tomorrow. It won't be until, the game is released. So yeah, build up your strength. It's going to be a busy week. Looking forward to it. So anyway, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. I've been BonBonB. Yes, I can do it. You've been very, very welcome. I will see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.
Come here now, girl.